So Bama came into Doak Campbell Stadium and left after getting a complete and thorough beatdown. Norvell was still unhappy, and I'll tell you why. So despite the 31-17 win, this episode dives into the why, not just the what happened in the FSU versus Alabama game. In this episode, we're going to unpack both what went right and what still concerns the FSU coach and Mike Norvell. I want to dive straight into the expectations after what many around the nation call a statement game. A 31-17 win over number 8 Alabama is huge. I'm going to just go ahead and say that. That's huge. And I mean, if you would have said before the game that this was going to happen, no one would have believed you. And I mean, I would have bet my house that the opposite would have happened, right? Most of us would. Prior to this game, I did feel confident in the fact that FSU could put up points against Bama. I thought we would win if we won by between 1 to 3 points. Never in a million years did I think we were going to blow out Alabama by 2 touchdowns. So that's that. So Norvell, I mean, over the years, I mean, this is year 6 now for Norvell, and a lot of people have already made up their mind about Norvell. But one thing that kind of stuck out to me after the game against Alabama, Norvell remained unhappy. He was, in my opinion, he was angry in a good way, angry that we didn't put up enough points. See, Norvell, that's to me, that signals the desire not just for a victory, but for total dominance. And in order to bring FSU back to the times of old, right? I remember the 90s FSU teams. I remember the 2013 team, and even to a certain extent, the 2014 team, how dominant those teams were, how people feared when they played against FSU, how we had playmakers all over the field, and how we just would come up and just straight up knock you in the mouth and just rock you. And Doak Campbell Stadium was a place that people did not want to come and play. And so, in order to get back to that level in college football, there's a different mindset and mentality that the coaching staff has to establish. And I think in game 1 of the 2025 season, we saw a little bit of that fire, a little bit of that desire. See, Norvell, he's no longer just happy with just winning a game. And I don't either. I'm not happy either with just winning the game. And I don't care who the opponent was, whether it was Alabama or East Texas A&M. We want to annihilate them and make sure that they remember the day when they played FSU, right? And so why was Norvell upset? Well, with a roaring home crowd, energy built around the newly renovated stadium, Doak Campbell, FSU could have delivered an even more emphatic and exciting outcome. I mean, there were opportunities to score that we just really we didn't take full advantage of those things. And don't get me wrong, I am completely proud of this team. And I said that in episode 1. 100% proud of this team, but I just wanted to, in Norvell's defense, he has a reason to be that way. And just to, it was Alabama. So let's, when Nick Saban was at his tip top, when he was at his peak in coaching at Alabama, he would find any little reason, any little thing to nitpick to keep those players hungry, to make sure that his players didn't get complacent. And I think that's exactly what Norvell realizes that he has to become. And I think that's exactly what he was doing and what he was saying in that statement. His statement is kind of reminiscent to the Thomas Castellanos statement. He's speaking out into the atmosphere. He's putting faith into his team, knowing that as good as we did, we could have done better. And he's letting the nation know, I know you saw what you saw, but we're not there yet. We're not done yet. There's a whole different level that we're going to be at by the end of the season. That's going to represent FSU and put us back in where we need to be in a dominant fashion. So that was exciting to hear him say that. I was so happy. I've never been so happy to see that another man is unhappy. So Norvell, I just want you to, Coach Norvell, I just want you to keep pushing the team in that way. So, what moments in the game may have raised flags or may have been red flags or things that we need to be concerned about or at the very least just pay closer attention to? My Noles, listen, we showed toughness and we showed defensive consistency. We were relentless, but Alabama still made plays. Even though we limited Bama to 87 rushing yards, their fewest in an opener since 1975. I'm going to repeat that. 87 rushing yards. We held them to their fewest yards in or rush yards in an opener since 1975. We allowed 55 yards, however, on the first drive. That definitely highlighted some vulnerability and some areas that we needed to clean up. Now, I love the adjustments by Tony White. Okay. After that first drive, we had to get our feet under us. I love the adjustments that were made, but we should have came out that way. And so that's one area where Norvell can go push some buttons and Tony White can go push some buttons to see if we can clean that up a little bit for our next couple games heading into East Texas A&M, Kent State. We have Virginia coming up. We have Miami coming up. But even though the next 2 or 3 games are going to be against teams that on paper are inferior, we as FSU fans know on paper means nothing. The games are not played on paper. Not only that, style points matter. If we're supposed to beat a team by 50, FSU, my guys, let's go out and beat them by 55. Let's go out and beat them by 60. Let's go out and make a statement in every game that we play in. It's not about just getting a victory. Let's go get better. Everybody on the team, first string all the way through fourth, fifth string, whatever, walk-ons, everybody get better. So that's that. The scoreboard did not reflect the yardage dominance, okay? FSU tallied 382 total yards. 230 of those yards were just rushing, 152 passing. So we only scored 31 points though. So that means that there were a couple drives that ended up in that could have ended up in touchdowns, and instead they ended up in field goals or they ended up in no points at all where we had to punt. And that's not okay. And so if we want to be dominant, if we want to gain our respect back on the college football landscape or across the nation, we gotta clean up some of those things. If we get into the red zone or if we get a possession, let's be hungry every possession. Let's not be content that we're up 2 scores, because why not make it 3 scores? And that's the mindset. If we're up 3 scores, why not make it 4 scores? If the second string is in or third string is in, we want to keep the same mentality, right? We don't want a big drop off from first string to third string, from second string to third string, or third string to fourth string. If a guy gets on the field, that means he can play for FSU. And if he can play for FSU, he needs to be out there physically dominating the opponent. And that's how I feel about that. So special teams, we had some situational errors. We know that Lucas is an electric, dynamic playmaker with the ball in his hands. And I think I've heard said that punt that hit Jalen Lucas had actually hit the toe of an Alabama player. I didn't get a chance to go back and see that, so I can't speak to that. One thing I can say, though, if you call a fair catch, you have to go field that ball, okay? And I understand the weather may have caused some issues. I understand that the wind may have caused some issues, but that's just an area that if we want to be a dominant college football team, there's no excuses, right? Again, I almost can't get any more proud of how this team came out in game 1, but it's often said as well that between game 1 and game 2 is where the majority of the growth is made during the season. So even though we're not going against the number 8 team or top 10 team this week coming up, I would love to see us go out there and just flat out smack them up, send them home, have the starters resting in the first half, and our third and fourth string still keep pouring it on. And I hope Coach Mike Norvell releases Gus Malzahn and allows him to run the score. Sorry to say it. I don't care if it's a FCS opponent. I don't care if it's a FBS opponent. I don't care if it's a P4 opponent. Whoever's in front of us, let's go score 60. And I know Gus has that mindset. Norvell in the past has not really, in my opinion, had that mindset. He'll take his foot off the gas, and that's part of why we've lost some games in the past too that maybe we should have won. Or when the college football playoff committee looked at us, they felt like, oh, we didn't have enough style points or we didn't score enough points. This season, hey, if we can score 100, let's go score 100. And I'm not sorry for the opponent because they're a football team too. They step out there on the field. It's nothing personal, but we have a mission, okay? We have to go accomplish that mission. All right. So when it comes to having this sort of mindset that Norvell has in terms of he wants to continue getting better and he wants to nitpick, is that a productive mindset or is that problematic? Let's kind of dive into that. So on the productive side of things, it drives championship level standards, right? What that mindset says is that we won, but we remain unsatisfied. The next level is our expectation, right? We were good, we want to be great. And when we get great, we want to become excellent. And as individual players, they will never be perfect. But as a team, they can be perfect. And right now, they're perfect until they're not, right? The moment they start getting big-headed, the moment they start, thinking that they know better than what the coaches are telling them, the moment they want to start having an I, or me, like selfish mindset, that's when things can start going down in a hurry. So there's a lot of management that has to be done. And Norvell is now the CEO of the team. So I'm thinking that he'll have some more time to dedicate to just managing personalities, managing situations, and allowing those coordinators and those other coaches on the field to worry about the X's and O's on the granular level, while he just kind of oversees everything and makes sure that all the players are giving their all and we're operating at maximum proficiency. We got to own the small things, right? It's not just about the scoreboard, right? Yeah, we won. Whoop-de-doo. It's about cleaning up every single little detail. Tackling, blocking, special teams, conversion efficiency. We have to take offense if a team goes for it, like Alabama was disrespectful, completely disrespectful. If a team goes for it on fourth down against you, there's something about your defense that they're simply not respecting, right? I don't care if it's midfield. I don't care if it's on our 20-yard line. Nobody should be going for it on fourth down. And we made a statement this past game, and we want to continue making that statement. We saw some of the Alabama players a little bit nervous and shy about sticking their hands out there, sticking their head out there to try to make a catch. Well, we want to make that our identity. We want to make sure that any team that comes in and their players want to go down the middle, heck, you want to run up the sideline, you better know that Earl Little's going to come over the top. Ashland Barker's going to lay the wood. This guy, that guy is going to lay the wood. And our D-line, we want to make sure that the opposing quarterback is running for his life. We got to own the small things. It's not just about pressuring the quarterback. Let's try to get home. We had several opportunities where we could have gotten home this past weekend, and we got close. I mean, within inches. But football is a game of inches. So it's going to make all the difference when we're playing later in the season for games that are even more meaningful. if we can get those inches that we didn't get this game. If we can get that extra, I don't know, maybe we left an extra touchdown. Maybe we left 2 touchdowns on the field, right? There were definitely some opportunities for picks. We had some pass breakups that were like, dude, just put your hand around the ball. I'm happy for the pass breakup. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to sound ungrateful, but that's an opportunity that we didn't seize in that game for a pick. And I kept calling it. I kept calling it. And I was thinking that we were going to come through with an interception, but we didn't. But again, it just gives us something to work for this week, something to improve this week. Yeah. All right. So this mindset adds fuel for future opponents, right? Guys now know anything less than peak effort won't win. The standard is set by Norvell now. The standard is set by our leadership on that team, that we're going to go out there every week like it's Alabama. We're going to go out there every week like it's the #1 team in the nation right now, which is Ohio State. We're going to go out there and we're going to dominate. And it doesn't matter who's across from us. It's just a jersey. Throw whatever helmet you want out there. We're going to go out there. We're going to crush them. We're going to dominate them. But it starts with the mindset of the coach that he instills within the players and the leadership, the seniors, the upperclassmen, heck, even the freshmen, those guys who already have that standard for yourself, uphold the standard. Don't let your brother next to you not live up to that standard. Hold each other accountable. We just don't need to be arguing and fighting on the sidelines, but hold each other accountable. When we get back to practice or even in game, pull that guy aside. If he's not giving his 100%, he had an opportunity to chase somebody down and he allowed somebody else to do it, and he loafed on the play, call him out for it. Man, I loved seeing the hats swarming, right? We looked like some sort of a Seminole beehive this past week, how we were swarming the ball carrier. I believe on 85, 90% of the plays, we were swarming. But if it's only 85%, that means we left 15% on the table, right? So that's something we got to do. Pushing Gavin Sawchuk, excuse me, into the end zone. He might have made it on his own. It was great to see other guys coming in and helping push that pile. And I know Coach Herb Hand said that there were a couple other two offensive linemen did come in and help push that pile, but there were 3 more guys who didn't, right? That's not going to cut it. That's 40%. I mean, 60% of our guys were not even helping on that play. Imagine how easy that run would have been for Sawchuk if 100% of our guys were over there pushing that pile. I know the guys were tired, but guess what? We're trying to play championship football. So tired is not an excuse right now. So what about the risky side of the mindset? Okay, we know that this could seed pressure or burnout, right? Players could start feeling too much pressure to win and be perfect, right? So there's a balance, right? Or they may start perceiving the coach in Norvell as, oh, this guy doesn't even appreciate that I just went out there and laid it all on the line. So that mindset has to be something that the players are working to develop as well. Everybody has to work together to make sure that we're on the same page. And it's basically one band, one sound type of deal. All right. We must navigate perception with care. So coaching staff, the fans might see a 2-score win as decisive, but the public tone needs balance. At the end of the day, the team needs balance in our approach and our mindset. We got to make sure that everyone we got to make sure that we're not putting too much pressure on the guys, but the guys have to open up and understand that we're going to be in some pressure situations, and they were built for this. Over the offseason, that's what we were doing. And this team, I know, is truly destined for something special. So what does this mean going forward? Well, week 2, we got to fix the details. We have to sharpen our fundamentals. We have to work on tackling consistency, getting after the quarterback, making sure we squeeze that quarterback, not allowing him to slip through. Special teams execution, we got to figure that out, okay? If we're going to be fielding punts, let's field them. If we're not going to field them, let's figure that out. I believe Jalen Lucas, he's not going to have that kind of mishap again. But if he's not showing it in practice, we have other guys that can step up. Jalen Lucas is still gonna give us everything he has on the offense. So, hey, we got to do what we got to do. But I'm still rooting for him. I think that he's going to be special for us in the punt return game. We also got to build depth beyond, the star performers, okay? So especially within the running back room, because we already lost Rodell Williams, and we don't know how long we're without him. And so our whole mentality has to be next man up. Daryl Jackson, he gives me some pause. He gives me some reason for concern because he played, I believe, 55 snaps in the game versus Alabama. I'm hoping that they can reduce those snaps these next 2, 3 games. And this week at practice, hey man, just allow him to do some light jogging just for conditioning. I'm not gonna push Daryl Jackson too much. I mean, this guy was an anchor on that defensive line, and he was just eating up double teams and triple teams and holding his head up and holding his own, and they couldn't move him. And I really love that. So we got to take care of him. Maintain offensive identity with discipline. Gus's ground heavy, deceptive rushing game. I mean, it's an amazing offense. People can believe what they want to believe about it. I believe it's an amazing offense. I believe it's very hard for a team, no matter how talented, to key in on our players because so much misconception, so much deception, so much misdirection, I should say. And I just think this offense is going to evolve week after week as the players really start to understand the offense, as players really start to feel comfortable within the offense. I think this offense has a chance to do something special that we haven't seen in a while at FSU. As Norvell is giving us this feedback, if I'm the team, I'm it's bringing us together, right? If this type of mindset from our coach is saying we're aiming higher. Yeah, we beat Alabama. So what? 11 more teams on our schedule. 11 more teams on our schedule. And if we take care of business, there'll be a couple more games after that. And we'll have an opportunity to do something really, really special towards the end of the year. So we can't be happy for one game. And we celebrated Sunday night, what have you. But after that, let's get back to business. Okay. Coach Norvell's raw reaction shows that FSU is not celebrating yet. And that's exactly where it should be. That drive for more might be the difference between being the same old, and champions, whether that's ACC champions or beyond. So, question for you. Do you guys think that FSU could have scored more? If so, how so? Drop it in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe for more insight. Again, this was Fendi with Faith Family Football. Go Noles.